You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Hey, welcome to the You're Not Gonna Make It podcast, where I discuss things that may prevent you from making it. This week's episode is about a topic that is a huge obstacle for people trying to get into fitness. And this topic goes by the name of Gymtimidation, also known as gym intimidation. Now, this is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. This is someone who wants to go to the gym, but they are too scared, too uncomfortable, whatever the problem is, and they just don't have the nerve to actually step into the gym. This is a unique problem where it's kind of a mental issue, but it affects you physically. As in, there are mental blocks preventing you from going to the gym. And then, because you're not going to the gym, or in most cases not exercising, your body will be lacking in your own mind. And you will, whether it's for aesthetic or functional purposes, feel that you're not worthy of going to the gym. And then you will it's kind of a feedback loop of, my mind is telling me I don't want to go, so my body sucks, which is making my mind not want to go. Which is ridiculous if you think about it, because it's not like you have to work up your way to go to the gym. Everyone's good enough to go to the gym or exercise. But funnily enough, when I used to be a personal trainer, I did hear similar ideas from people. I legitimately have heard people say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I want to lose weight before I start going to the gym," or "Oh no, I want to get a little more fit before I start losing weight, or before I go to the gym." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking? What are you talking about?" I didn't say that to their face, but I'm thinking, this makes absolutely no sense. And then you have to explain to a person that no one is ready to go to the gym. Is an exercise is where you become ready. It's like someone saying, "Oh, I gotta buy a car before I can learn how to drive. I'm not ready yet." Like, the other way around. But again, as I said, this is a problem of the mind. So it's not always going to be rational. Now, I'll admit, there are some gyms that feel like they are meant for gorilla-shaped gym bros and nobody else. But that's only because the people who go there are really consistent. So looking from the outside in, it just looks like, wow, these people are really different from me, which means I don't belong. That's a mental thing. Now, some gyms go way too far in the other direction, saying we are so open. And I'm talking about Planet Fitness here, of course. We're so open. We're going to make everything look like toys. We're going to give you bad food to lure you in. You can't even do certain kinds of exercising, like Olympic lifting, get the fuck out of here, and anything like that, powerlifting, whatever. I know most Planet Fitnesses, they do not even have a power rack, so you have to deal with a Smith machine, which in my opinion is not as helpful because it kind of takes away the stabilization responsibility from you. But I have been hearing from people that some Planet Fitnesses, they do have power racks, so you have the free weight there with the barbell. But I think those are few and far in between. Unless I missed something, I've not been to Planet Fitness in 4 years, so I do not know. But the point is, their reputation is, hey, everyone, come on in. Everyone, come on in. Even if you're not going to work out, really, just come in, please. I think that's going a bit too far. Most other gyms are somewhere in the middle. I think a good one, and I'm biased because I go here, is Blink Fitness, which has a kind of mix of inviting colors, but they have all the equipment you need. They have a power rack. They have all types of stuff that allows basically anyone who goes to the gym to accomplish what they need to accomplish. But it does not by any means look like some meathead frat house. Not at all. And most gyms are like that, honestly. Most gyms are actually really, really inviting. People, I don't know why gyms have this reputation for being only for meatheads, but honestly, go in there. Most people are not meatheads. They're on the treadmill. And most people are really open to helping out. Most people just don't ask for help because of gymtimidation. Now, most people who suffer from this are beginners, people who've never been to the gym, so they don't understand how it works, how the social hierarchy in the gym works, as in everyone is at the same fucking level. Just talk to anybody is fine. Unless they have headphones on, or, well, if you have that rule, you're not going to ever talk to anybody, which is fine too. But everyone can be spoken to unless they're in the middle of a set. If someone has metal, iron over their head, please don't fucking talk to them. You could kill them just because you want to ask a question. But beyond that, you can really just talk to anybody. It's totally fine. So a lot of beginners don't know this, and they think, "Oh, I'm just on my own. I'm a loser. Everyone's gonna laugh at me because they've been here for 17 years, and I just got in my first day. They're gonna point and laugh." Let me give you a bit of advice. If you go to a gym or a public exercise area, the only people who would laugh at you are possibly teenagers, but most teens aren't allowed at gyms, which is great. But the vast majority of people, they do not care that you're there. They didn't notice that you're there. They don't know it's your first day there. They don't know if you've been there 400 times. They don't know because they don't care. They're focused on themselves. And that's what you should be, focused on yourself. Don't worry about what they're thinking about you because they're not thinking about you. So don't think about them. That's the number one thing I wish people would understand. Nobody's judging you at the gym. They're only judging themselves. That's why they're there. That's why we're all here. So don't worry about it. No one's going to go over there and say, "Hey, you're new. You're a fucking loser. Get out of here until you pass the gym test." No, it's fine. Just go in. Do what you got to do. Now, this gymtimidation doesn't only affect beginners. It also affects people who have been to the gym before, but they have deeper issues than just gymtimidation, like maybe body image issues, body dysmorphia, whatever. But the result is the same. They just are too kind of scared or uncomfortable to get into the gym and to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Not everyone has to go to the gym, but if you want to, you should not be scared to do so. Well, not for reasons that don't make sense. Again, if you're worried that people will exile you from the gym for being a newbie and for never having gone to the gym before, that's just not going to happen. Now, one thing that may be a bit justified in terms of having gymtimidation would be if you have, let's say, injuries or health conditions. Now, obviously, your doctor, whoever will tell you what you can and can't do. But, the people who ignore that and they go to the gym anyway, they sometimes have a bit of gymtimidation. They're worried, "Oh man, I might break something. I might worsen my injury." And they could be right. I don't know. Listen to your fucking doctor and then you will make the right call, usually. But that's a legitimate form of intimidation. You should be intimidated of getting injured again if your actions in the past have given you an injury and you haven't changed anything. Well, yeah, you should be pretty scared. But that's kind of a different thing. This isn't really the gymtimidation I'm referring to. Another type of person who's really affected by gymtimidation would be introverts. They go to the gym and they're worried about all the social parts of the gym. Here's a tip. Just wear headphones and no one's going to bother you. Simple as that. Unless you're a girl, maybe. I think women get talked to a bit too much, honestly. And really buff, actually, it's kind of equal on both sides who gets annoyed. Headphones don't always work, but they are great to ward away most people. So try that out. And more importantly, remember, again, that no one cares about you. So they're not going to come up to you and strike a conversation unless you do that to them. Now, I'm not saying you can't be social at the gym. You can be. I see tons of people, mostly people who are 50 and older. They use the gym as kind of a social spot. They just, talk with their friends while they're on the treadmill or something like that. And it's whatever. It's fine. But don't think that the average person is going to strike up a conversation with you just because you're there. They don't care about you. Again, remember this. If you want to be introverted, you can be introverted. Go there, do what you got to do, and you can get out without talking to a single person except the people at the front desk. Sometimes not even them. Nearly every time I go to the gym, I just go up there, scan the ID, do what I got to do, leave without saying a single word. Before anyone calls me rude, I wave goodbye. If they say bye, it's fine. But you don't need to say anything at the gym. If you're an introvert, you can stay introverted if you want to. It's totally fine. I actually have some stats here. Apparently, 50% of Americans experience anxiety when thinking about working out in front of other people. This is from a survey. I would imagine because most Americans are fat, so they probably feel intimidation and anxiety when doing anything in front of a bunch of people. Fair enough. Again, no one's really caring or looking at you, even if they're thinking, man, that guy sure is fat. Most people are thinking, you know what, that guy's badass. It's really cool that he's here. At least that's what I think. Almost no one is thinking, man, that guy's a fat fucking loser. I hope he gets out of here. I hate him. I should go over there and kick him in the balls. No one's going to think or do that. And if they do think that, they're sure as hell not going to say it because that would take time from what they're there to do, improve themselves. Again, they're there for them. You're there for you. Remember that. Now, this stat is interesting and explains a lot. Apparently, 65% of women avoid the gym due to fear of being judged. That makes a lot of sense. Although I do see a lot of women at the gym these days. It's almost, I don't know if it's quite 50-50, but maybe 60% men, 40% women. So it's getting closer to half and half, which is cool. Most women there are not going to get judged, at least not verbally. If people are judging them, it's either, creepy people being very lustful. Usually they don't, do anything about it, usually. Or people who are judging them for being fat or whatever. It's again, they may think that, but in terms of taking action on that thought, that basically doesn't really happen. And this next stat makes a lot of sense as well. Apparently, gym attendance drops by up to 60%, by up to 50% within 6 months of joining for new members. It says partly due to intimidation. I think it's mostly due to being fucking lazy and not keeping up with their shitty New Year's resolutions. It's much easier for me to believe that someone does not go to the gym because they're lazy rather than they're scared. So what can you even do about this? Well, one, you can go to the gym when no one's there, if you can. Of course, most gyms depending on which gym, if you go to like Blink or Planet Fitness, it's gonna have a lot of people there at basically any time. But I will tell you this, if you have control over what time that you go, I think 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is usually kind of barren. Before work hours, so before 9, before 8, that has a bunch of people. Lunch hour from 12 to 1 has a bunch of people. And then after 5, it just becomes fucking intolerable. So not everyone has the option, but if you can go before noon, that would be ideal. If you go after 5, may God have mercy on your soul. Find a little corner in the mat and do some calisthenics or get some dumbbells and do something because you're not going to be able to do jack shit with any piece of equipment besides those. So for the sake of function and also to avoid the intimidation factor, just try to go when people aren't really there. Another great thing to do if you're fucking rich is getting a personal trainer because then you have every worry that you have about looking silly or whatever is transferred over to the trainer. Everything you're doing, you were instructed to do. So if you feel like, oh, people think you look silly, no, they're going to think the trainer looks silly. So you eliminate that embarrassment entirely. And if the trainer's good, you can actually benefit from this. Again, if you're rich. As I mentioned before, headphones, again, could be pretty helpful. Ideally, you want to get to the point where you don't need headphones, not only just to, for intimidation's sake, but you want to get to the point where you don't need headphones at all. Like I don't. You want to get to the point where your brain can encourage you by itself and not using music as a crutch. Although music is very fun, but, if you need music, you're a pussy. Half joking. Another thing that'd be really helpful is having a plan, getting a program for yourself. I somewhat advise against getting any kind of pre-made workout plan because that has nothing to do with you or your goals. Now, if you're a beginner, you can do pretty much any balanced workout plan made for beginners and not hurt yourself. So that's an option, but ideally you want to learn what you actually want to accomplish, what can get you there, and have somewhat of a plan. If you want help with some of that planning, you should check the links in the description, actually. Because honestly, most of what you need in the gym is an understanding of patterns. Once you know your patterns, you don't really need to worry about what equipment is available, how much space you have. You can kind of do whatever you got to do wherever. And I can attest that these things work. My first foray into the gym was when I went to college. I went before my semester started. So I went during the summertime, which means basically no students were there. So I was there by myself, struggling, ugly sweating, all this kind of shit. No one was there, and I'm glad for it because I did have gymtimidation. And I wish I had this advice back then because then I wouldn't have worried so much because I would have remembered that nobody cares. And yes, when I was there with someone else, they never paid me any mind whatsoever. So it still applies. Nobody cares about you. And it's liberating. Don't think, oh man, nobody cares about me. No, it's fucking awesome. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Go to the gym, do what you got to do, figure it out. No one's going to push back on you. It's fine. Nobody cares about you. They care about themselves. So you care about yourself too. And you can care about yourself big time by getting over this intimidation, getting to the fucking gym, or at least exercising. This whole topic is not meant to say you need to go to the gym if you want to be fit. It's helpful. But what I'm saying is don't be intimidated to exercise based on silly things like other people judging you. No one's fucking judging you. No one's looking at you. It's fine. Okay? Nobody cares. Except me. I care about you. That's why I'm giving you all this advice for free. Holy shit. How generous am I? I gave you something, so why don't you give me a comment telling me when you overcame your gym intimidation or if you suffer from it now. Maybe I can bully you into going to the gym. If you're too scared to ever go to the gym, give this podcast a 1-star review. If you beat gym intimidation because of this, give it a 5-star. Hell yeah, buddy. Now, I'll see you next week. You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can.